Good morning to the organizers, to all the high-class speakers and the participants. I'm glad to be here today. I feel honored to be part of this high-quality conference dealing with important issues and topics. As already mentioned, my name is Anita Omercevic. I'm working for the Forum of Cultures and as project manager in the field of migration and development policy. The name of the organization is Forum der Kulturen, but it's in English it's Forum of Cultures, but we do not use it often since we are mostly working on a domestic level in Germany. I want to give you a short introduction about the organization to understand the context of the Department Migration and Development Policy I'm working for. So first of all, the Forum of Cultures is a migrant organization. It's an NGO founded in 1998, back then with 2 employees. Today we have more than 25 employees working in different departments. We are located in the south of Germany, in the city of Stuttgart, and we are an umbrella organization. So we do have 130 members from the city of Stuttgart or around, which are migrant organization, diaspora organization actually. But we do have offers and services that reach more than 300 migrant organization and diaspora organization, not only in the federal state of Baden-Württemberg, but also on the national level. So as I already mentioned, our target group of our work are migrant organization, diaspora organizations. As a quick overview to the goals of the organization in general, our goal is to foster and strengthen interculturality and diversity. So what we do is we empower migrant organizations, we provide trainings, we strengthen civic engagement, because when talking about migrant organization, it's clear that these are not high professional organizations, but these are organizations based on voluntary basis, most of the time dependent on project funding, with most of the time no staff costs at all, but with high potential and very important work that they are doing not only in Germany, but also in implementing international projects all over the world. We foster societal, political, and cultural participation of migrants, especially by lobbying. We also, of course, campaign against exclusion, prejudice, racism, and discrimination. And one important goal is to enhance intercultural openness of institutions, of ministries, and associations. So just to give you a short overview of the departments, we have different departments with different teams. We work on intercultural discourse, which is mainly directed at political lobbying for the needs of migrant organizations, for the needs of diaspora organizations. We foster civic engagement because as you know, and it's something that one can observe in all the countries, civic engagement is decreasing, but still the organizations are doing really important work, especially when it comes to sustainable development. We also are active in the field of anti-racism and anti-discrimination, which of course became a new dynamic in the course of the Black Lives Matter movement this year. And we provide offers for education and qualification, but also culture and art is one important issue. We organize festivals, we organize music projects with musicians from all over the world and also theaters. So coming now to the main topic of the presentation, migration and development policy. It may be not as innovative as it sounds, but to be honest, linking both issues, migration and development, is something that has been done or has been started 10 years ago on the domestic level in Germany. So it was not quite common to think of both issues of migration and development policy, and also about the potential that is in these issues. So in 2007, at the Forum of Cultures, the position for a project manager on migration and development policy was established. And since 2013, we even have a promoter for migration and development policy, a promoter who is active not only on the federal level, but also on the national level. An important issue, and I think because of this, we're also kind of an outlier today, because as I said, we are an NGO, we are not directly working on growth or on economic development, but what we do is we run projects, so we are also dependent on project funding, but we do empower migrant organization, diaspora organization that are active in the field of development policy. So what they do is they do important work in the countries all over the world, in African countries, in Asia, in South America. And we want to empower those migrant organizations and support them and also make their work visible. So what we do mostly, we run projects, we organize conferences, we offer consultations. As I mentioned, most of the work is based on voluntary work, so it's really important to advise them on how to be most successful and most effective. But we also offer trainings, lobbying, network building, cooperation, public relations. And our target group are migrant organization and diaspora organization. But what we want to do with this work is to address institutions and also ministries and municipalities to show them what kind of potential is often not used and often overseen. So to give you just a brief information about the current situation here in Germany, and something that we are often criticizing is that migrant organizations, as I mentioned before, make a substantial contribution to development policy. They run projects not only on the domestic level, but also on the international level in countries of the global south. So they invest in those countries by running projects that are not only focused on sustainable development, but by doing this, they also, of course, create perspectives, jobs, and also work that can be continued afterwards. But often when talking about development policy, the competencies of those people are overseen or not included enough, because they have their knowledge, they have their expertise, they have the language skills, and they also have a huge network and many contacts in the countries where they migrated from. So we perceive that there is a lack of visibility and acknowledgement of this commitment, and we want to empower and make it visible. So coming to the goals, as I already mentioned, we are empowering MOs. We are, when they plan to implement national and international projects, we support them, of course, also in search of cooperation partners. We advise them on public relation activities to make their participation and their efforts visible. And we provide trainings, as I mentioned before, in the field of development policy when it comes to project management, finances, public relations, and so on. So to give you some examples, and these are already just some examples of the work we are doing. There's one great example and one project I really like a lot, which is called My Globe. It's for Migration Global. And you can see here 15 people, which is a pool of high professional people active in the field of migration and development policy. And what they do is that they advise municipalities on how to feel first more responsible when it comes to sustainable development goals, because acting responsible starts at the local level. And I think actually right now during the pandemic, we can see how the world is linked and how our behavior here also on the local level affects global development. So they advise municipalities on how to become active, how to implement sustainable development goals, but also how to use the existing potential in the municipalities by diaspora organizations. Another example is a working group migration and development policy that we have. It was established in 2008, and today it is one of the events in Stuttgart that's most attended, because there has not been something similar to this, where people working in the field of development policy come together and discuss what is going on, discuss important issues, discuss movements, and also things that should change. And we have this 6 meetings per year. And for instance, the topic of next year will be the global business with violence. And for this, we also, of course, invite experts and institutions to discuss those issues together. Conference, of course, is not something special per se, but the special thing about this is that it's the only conference about migration and development policy on the national level we have in Germany. So every 2 years, we organize this conference with more than 400 participants, and it's a great opportunity to make the efforts visible, but also to foster network building, of course, for migrant organization and diaspora. Okay, and lastly, one example that we are currently working on is to build a migrant network on development policy, which we hope will have impact also on the political level, which also deals with not only development policy in general, but also with anti-racism and post-colonialism, which is an important issue in Germany when it comes to educational work. So we hope that this network will be founded next year and that will raise its voice and also have all the impact on the political level and also on the level of influencing discourses about development policy in Germany. Next. So just short overview about the partners we are working with. We are working with ministries, we are working with the civil society, but also with the representative of churches. So that was very quick and brief, and I had to talk very fast. Please excuse that. I hope I was able to give you some insight about our work, and I'm looking forward to the questions afterwards.
We have a lot of questions regarding how do we think about each one of these roles and the responsibility of these roles within the legacy of colonialism and within sort of the challenges of EU's role, especially given the many important conversations that are being had right now regarding a legacy of racism that is very, very alive right now, and inequities that continue to be very present. So just kind of opening it to all the speakers, when we're thinking about the promotion of growth in Africa and of these links, how do you think about your roles, and how do we think about these legacies that are very present?
I'd just like to add, as civil society organization, we are always in a kind of a role which is comfortable, actually, because we can address issues such as this one and also put political pressures on it. But colonialism is something that we address and focus on a daily basis, actually. And what, from my perspective, is important is to put pressure on taking responsibilities. We see some development on the federal level of Baden-Württemberg, which are at least one step, but it's not only about talking, as the speaker said before, it's about to walk the talk. And it's really important to not only have this in mind when it comes to inequalities or something, but also when it comes to the language we use, to the signs that we see. So I think the responsibility starts on the local level in all the countries responsible for this developments, actually.